today. I am here to present a bill that would bring an end to the use of the Common Core standards in the state of Alabama. This is House Bill 440. 7 years ago, when I first came into this body, the Alabama House of Representatives, I sponsored a bill to end Common Core. That was in 2015. The very next year, in 2016, I sponsored a bill again to end Common Core. The very next year, Congressman Barry Moore took the bill and sponsored a bill to end Common Core. It's kind of ironic he was with us for lunch today, but Congressman Moore's sponsored it. There have been others since then. Up to this point, we've never had a hearing. This is the first hearing that we have had on Common Core. And so it's kind of precedent setting. For almost a decade, Alabama has seen a downward spiral in our test scores. Folks, we're education policy. That's us. And it should rest heavily on each and every one of us. Currently, Alabama is 46th and 51st in rankings, test score rankings. Folks, in a country that has 50 states, you have to work hard to be 51st. And so we obviously have some problems. Some people argue that we need a greater spending, that we just need more money. And if we throw more money at it, it will solve our problems. Folks, I have been here 7 years. Every year I have been here, spending for public education has increased, and increased significantly. It is not the fact that our state is stingy and does not spend money on education. We do. I want to bring out, there are three things in this bill that I would like for you to take a look at. The first thing is repeal and replace. We want to repeal the Common Core standards and take them out of the state of Alabama. And we want to replace them with what was there prior. The ones that were there earlier is what we want to replace them with. Honestly, when Common Core came in, Alabama was showing strides in improvements, especially in the area of reading. Enough so that our state was actually getting some positive generated attention from other states in the United States at the time. And then along came Common Core. And it's been with us for a decade. And as I said, our scores have done nothing but go down. I'm saying I think there is a correlation. And, we are to use the previous standards as a starting point, not a finishing point. But we would like to go back to them and build on them, and the bill calls for doing that. It actually asks that that be done. The second thing I want to mention is we need to return control of education to the state of Alabama. Not some kind of national consortium or not some nationwide group, which is what we did about 10 years ago when we accepted and adopted Common Core. Education is our responsibility as a state. It is a reserved power granted to the state of Alabama. The 10th Amendment says those powers not given to the national government are reserved for the states. This is not given to the national government. This is our responsibility. It's an Alabama responsibility. We can't blame anybody but ourselves. And so we don't have anyone else to turn to and point a finger at. I would argue there is no greater responsibility that this legislative body bears, no greater responsibility than educating our children. It's the greatest responsibility we have. And there is language in this bill to prevent ever again turning over that responsibility to a national group or a national consortium. if you have had a chance to read it. The language is there to prevent us ceding that responsibility again, ever again. There is also an attempt, and this is the third point I would like to make, there's an attempt in this bill to reject what we might call social engineering. And that involves pushing people, things that would normally be done by our families, onto the state, and having the state tell our children what is good and what is bad in a philosophical manner. There are certain things, and I have been a teacher all my life just about, there are certain things I understand that you have to do. You know, you have to spank Johnny or Susie's hand sometimes as a bad thing. But we do not need to incorporate philosophical thoughts into this, leading children to a certain place. And you think about your own life. Here you sit in the Alabama legislature. Would you have anticipated that when you were in the 7th grade with hormones running amok? Maybe not. But it's time, I think, that we reclaim our schools and reclaim our responsibility that we have for operating and maintaining those schools. You're going to hear from some speakers who are going to be speaking after me in favor of this bill, House Bill 440. I would like to point out that these men and lady are not speakers from any agency of the state. They are not here representing any state agency or group. They are citizens. They are grassroots citizens who have dedicated a lot of their time to studying this issue. And I would like for you to listen to them carefully. They are passionate about this, or they would not have done what they have done over the years. And I would ask that in closing that we be allowed a vote on House Bill 440. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Fisher. As